Dajjal's end will not come until the three parts of the shadow have been completed. And I have said to you, this is my eschatological understanding, that we are now in the second part of the shadow, in which Pax Americana is present, and now in irrevocable decline, irretrievable decline. And then after Pax Americana, I said there will be an attempt for Pax Judaica, when after the Great War, then Israel will make her bid to become the ruling state in the world. I may not be alive for that. So Dajjal will not appear in human form unless and until the three parts of the shadow are completed. Remember, I'm giving these lectures for beginners. My students who've been studying this subject for so many years, they're already familiar with the subject. But for the beginners, it might be a little difficult at this time. So bear with me. And don't argue. No boxing match. It is, excuse me, after the three parts of the shadow are completed. The hadith speaks of a day like a year, a day like a month, a day like a week. Only then will he appear in our world of space and time. And when he does, he will not be a robot. He will not be artificial intelligence. No, he's going to appear as a human being. The Prophet said he would be a Jew. He'd be a young man. He'd be powerfully built. You will not be able to see any difference between him and a normal human being, because the difference is in the ruh. How can you see that? When Dajjal appears in our world of space and time, he will do so ruling the world from Jerusalem. So Israel has to become the ruling state. They're listening to me. The Jews are listening to me, yeah. And only when Dajjal has completed his mission and declares from Jerusalem, I am the Messiah, then whether Qom agrees with me or not, this is my view, it is only then that Allah will send the Imam al-Mahdi, alayhi salam. Let me repeat it, whether Qom agrees with me or don't. I once went to Qom and I spent 4 hours in dialogue with 40 of the Iranian ulama who were specialists in eschatology. They don't call it eschatology in Iran, they call it ilm al-Mahdawiyah. So we spent 4 hours. And there was someone translating from English to Farsi. And I found that there was no difference between the Iranian, the Shia ulama, and the Sunni ulama, and I have nothing more to say. So, whether Qom agrees with me or not, this is my view, that it makes sense to me, it is logical, that it is Allah who will send Imam al-Mahdi into this world, not Qom. And Allah will not send him, it makes no sense, Allah will not send him until Dajjal has completed his mission. So when Dajjal declares from Jerusalem, I am the Messiah, only then will Allah send the Imam. This is my view, and you should not accept my view unless you're convinced that I'm correct, because I have been wrong in the past. Oh yes. And when I offer a view, only Allah can confirm that it is correct. If it is wrong, I still get blessings for having made the effort. And tomorrow will be forgotten. But if I'm correct, it's truth, it will survive. How many times have I said that? When the Imam comes, then Jaziratul Arab will be liberated. And that's goodbye to Dajjal's kingdom of Saudi Arabia. You will re-enter the garbage bin from which you emerged in the first place. When the Jaziratul Arab is liberated. You no longer have any Saudi kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's garbage. It is Jaziratul Arab. It is Hijaz and Najd. When that happens, then the Khilafah state is restored. And when the Khilafah state is restored in Mecca, that is the first significant, game-changing challenge to their modern system of nation-states. Yes, the Khilafah state will be restored. When the Khilafah state is restored, that is the greatest challenge and threat of all to the state of Israel. So they want to kill the Imam. And the Imam is traveling and he is in Damascus. And then Israel launches a monstrously huge ground attack, an aerial attack on Damascus. Dajjal arrives with 70,000 Jews from Isfahan following with the Persian Shah. It's a figure of speech. And they surround the Imam in the masjid. He's in the masjid. When the Salat is over and the Imam, before the Salat commences, Imam is about to lead the Salat, then Allah sends down Jesus, the Son of Mary. We have the information that you don't have, my Christian brothers. Listen to our Prophet. He has more knowledge than you have on the subject. The Son of Mary will come down with his hands resting on the wings of two angels, and the Ahmadiyya movement headed by a false prophet Ghulam Ahmad can't do anything to stop it. The Messiah will come down from the sky with his hand resting on two angels and come down in the masjid. The Imam will recognize him. And if I can't give you the whole story now, go to my book, The Messiah, the Quran, and Akhir, where I have dealt with the subject in detail. When the Salat is over, the Messiah will come out of the masjid and Dajjal will see him and he'll be so scared, terrified, because he knows this is the true Messiah. The Prophet said he'll melt like salt melts in water. And he takes off because he's scared now. And the Messiah will pursue him and kill him. And that will be the end of Dajjal. Of course, when Dajjal is killed, there is no judgment day for him. There is no heaven or hell for him. Allah created him as a special creation of evil. So when he is killed, he will pass into non-existence. It is almost impossible for the beginner to understand this, so don't bother. Don't bother. This was, put it down, and maybe sometime later you'll be able to understand what you cannot understand now. Once the Dajjal is killed, the next step is for Allah to destroy that part of Gog and Magog who have not been checkmated for the second time by the sea, the Black Sea. In the second of the two currents of Karnain, Gog and Magog will be checkmated again in that region in the north. But some of them will have already passed the Sea of Galilee down the way to Jerusalem. So these of Gog and Magog who still remain in the world, Allah will now destroy them. They're waging biological warfare at this time with the bogus virus that they created in laboratories in Ukraine. And then they infected the birds with it, the bats and so on. And then they put numbers to the bats, and they have metals that they could check with their satellites above. And when a bird flies in a particular area, they then press a button, the bird falls down, and then that land is infected with the virus. So on this day, when Gog and Magog were destroyed, Allah will destroy them with biological warfare. Something will attack them at the back of the neck, at the top of the spine. And they'll all fall down paralyzed and die. And by next morning, their bodies will already be decomposing and smelling. And then when Dajjal is killed and Gog and Magog are destroyed, it is then that the Muslim army will put the finishing touch of that bogus state of Israel. And then Nabi Isa alayhi salam will now rule the world from Jerusalem.